All right, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Kakadash, double honors to the elders and the apostles that were well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. This is Fox News, and as you can see, it says, tone it down. Protesters with guillotine clash with police in warlike scenes. Now, you got to pay attention to the words that they use because these words push out a vibration, and that's what they want to do, push out a vibration. The Republicans just got through talking about the guillotine. If I'm not mistaken, Trump was all for the guillotine. I don't know if they passed some type of secret legislation, but they had mentioned this a long time ago that they had guillotines in concentration camps. You know, that type of news they put out there, then they get rid of it. It's the people waking up now, more so than ever. But I don't remember hearing them say anything about it up in this clip. But the next thing, war-like scenes. Now, it ain't no coincidence that President Trump just declared, passed legislation, an executive order, that the Department of Defense is going to be renamed to the Department of War. That used to be the name a while back. You'll have to Wikipedia that. How about this up there to do a lesson on it? But that's because of what's going on in the world. And you ain't got to be all spiritual about it. Trump said it in the video that I watched, that's why he was naming it that. But the scriptures, the Bible say that we in the time of war. You have to know what time we in. There's a time and a season for everything. You know, um, a wise man discerneth what is it, time and judgment, if I'm roughly paraphrasing it. You have to be aware of what's going on in this world. You have to watch the news. The news represents the prophecy of the Bible, you know, as well as they've been declared the U.S. a battlefield. This is an executive order. Um, they've been declared the people terrorists, the Patriot Act 1, 2, the Southern Poverty Law Center. And that's all I can think of as of now. But yeah, you have to know what's going on. You have to know what's time you're living in, man. Them guillotines and them concentration camps are already ready for you people. That's probably why the protesters brought it out there, because they know what's going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and press play on this video and then add some precepts. Well, I'm gonna add the precepts as it go. So
Were you abused by a member of the Catholic Church in Illinois when you were young? A global settlement may be coming in 2025. And
Anti-ICE protesters in Portland, Oregon, rolling out a guillotine, clashing with police, and turning the streets into a battlefield outside a migrant detention facility there. It's the latest flashpoint.
I just said they passed that legislation. America's a battlefield. I'm gonna look it up on the side real fast.
In protests that have stretched nearly 3 months now. A Democrat mayor, Keith Wilson, stands firm on keeping Portland a migrant sanctuary city. Our correspondent Dan Springer has that story for us. So Dan, are we expecting more unrest?
All right, Salakia. 1 second. All right, now I'm gonna attack some of these things that they just spoke on. Portland, Oregon. It's imperative that you know maps, ancient maps, as well as modern maps. This is where Portland, Oregon is located. Washington. Montana, Wyoming, etc. So Portland, Oregon, right here. Sanctuary city. A sanctuary city is a municipality. If I'm not mistaken, I have to look it up again. But I think municipality, or that might have been metropolis. I'll look it up later. A municipality that limits or denies its cooperation with the national government in enforcing immigration law. So that's what's going on with these sanctuary cities in the U.S. Proponents of sanctuary cities cite motives such as reducing the fear of persons which illegally immigrated from deportation, separation of immigrant families, reporting crimes, using health and social services, and enrolling their children into a school. And then you brothers can read into that. All right, now give me 1 second. This is oh damn, that's why. All right, I'm gonna have to go back through the Senate bill. Well, I'll write this out later. But it says the America, a battlefield phrase, likely refers to Senate Bill 3568, the American Battlefield Protection Program Enhancement Act of 2024, a bipartisan Senate bill co-sponsored by senators. Now, this one is fairly new. Um, Tim Kaine and Cindy Hyde Smith that was passed in December 2024 to enhance the protection and preservation of historic American battlefields. Okay, no, the bill strengthens the National Park Service American Battlefield Protection Program by extending grant eligibility for Revolutionary War of 1812 sites. So no, this one ain't it. I probably gotta look more into it. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this one later. Yeah. So I'm gonna play this video.
Arrest.
Every night it happens, Sandra, and this is happening just outside of an ICE facility with hundreds of Portland residents living in apartments right across the street, and Portland police will not engage out of some fear that it will be perceived as helping ICE in violation of the sanctuary laws.
Oh my God. Turn that down! It's midnight! We the people need sleep!
This what Apostle Car call him? Man, it's slipping my tongue. Apostle Hard got his name for him, and Apostle Bar got his name for him. This big ass bitch ain't ready for nothing. No type of war, conflict, famine, nothing. That's not the spirit to be in these times. As you can see, they declaring that shit a war-like scene, a war zone, and this, that, and the other, man. So you black women gotta pay attention and get your health in order.
And what makes this even more frustrating for residents is that Portland police won't respond to noise complaints or even when assaults are witnessed.
Calling about the protesters. They cornered 2 women out here. They need help. They cornered them. Please send a cop.
Portland police have not made a single arrest since June 18th, despite a number of assaults. A protester hit one resident with a megaphone, then a fist. Despite the injuries, no.
She gonna pay for that in the coming days. One, you women not supposed to be out there. Well, one, if you an Israelite, you're not supposed to be out there. Forget the heathen. You declare yourself a Hebrew Israelite, you are not supposed to be out there protesting. That's part of Bible prophecy. Two, she gonna pay for that. Or if she alive during that time when all hell break loose and they start and them seditions and things happen. But this is yeah. It's Isaiah chapter 13, verse 14. And it shall be as a chaste roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, nationalities, going back to nationalities, and flee everyone into his own land. These people fleeing into their own country. They leaving America. But the chase row part is what I was trying to get at, Salakia. The chase row is Jake, so-called Black Snaps Native American, is going to be chasing these white people up and down these streets, killing them. You know, he looked like he might have been an Israelite. But verse 15, everyone that is found shall be thrust through. Everyone that's found holding hands with these white people are going to be killed. And everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. That's what that means. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes, these white people. Their houses shall be spoiled, right? People going to be running your house, taking your shit. And their wives ravished. Women going to be getting raped, you know? So that's what you white people got to look forward to in the coming days. These protests are just a catalyst to those things coming to pass.
No arrest. One resident sued the city to force cops to enforce the laws, and this was uncovered during discovery. One officer telling another on the police radio, quote, "If it were not ICE, we could assist directly."
This is a full-on abdication of police duty in a 4-block radius that impacts some of the most vulnerable Oregonians that we have. Now they've said, meh, we're just going to let violent rioters do this for 80 straight nights, and we don't care.
Police
This is set up. All this was set up by the elites to help bring in certain legislations, to help bring in the New World Order, to help bring in them troops, you know, so we can get Second Ezra 16 on the roll. This has all been orchestrated by Yahweh Shemel Shai, passed down to the angels, the spiritual demons, Satan, to these Edomites that rule this world. So everything is going according to plan. Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Woe meaning destruction. The iniquity that was devised, the New World Order. The New World Order consists of several gradualistic, if that's a word, or how would you say it? Gradualistic acts, protests, legislation passed, troops sent, orchestrated famine, crisis actors, things like that. They all orchestrated all that stuff, to bring in a new world order. So woe means destruction to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand, right? So they got the power to bring to pass these protests. They had the power to orchestrate Biden letting immigrants in. They had the power to put Trump in office and make sure he kicked the immigrants out, bring the troops in, pass more laws. That's how the elites are controlling everything, keeping everybody confused and off balance, you know, as well as all the witchcraft that come behind it. So that's the power of the Lord. That's this ultimately of Yahweh Shemel Shai.
Portland declined an interview but said in a statement, quote, "We take these concerns seriously. At the same time, we are committed to protecting individuals' rights to express themselves peacefully." Now, all of this is on top of 3 straight months of protests in 2020, and this rioting has really taken a toll on the city's reputation. There are so many vacancies in the city of Portland right now that it ranks next to last in good places to invest in the country, and they've lost the top 20 buildings for offices have lost 57% of their combined value in the last 5 years. $1.7 billion down the drain. Sandra?
All right, Dan Springer on that for us. Dan, thank you.
Money talks, right? So does Jason Rance, the Seattle radio talk show host. And Jason, nice to see you. Good day to you. I want to roll a couple things here. Here's the flag burning and the guillotine. We'll have our viewers take a gander at that. I'm having a hard time understanding how big of an area this is, or how many people are out there on a nightly basis. Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, so the area itself is relatively small because they...
And it looks like they're saying basically F America. Chop the head off America, which that can be declared as treasonous, terroristic. Trump passed a law on the flag burning. This is an example of how they pass laws behind the shit that people do. And, but they want them to do that to help them pass the laws so that they can bring them troops in and declare martial law and things of that nature. So this is all orchestrated. It's all going according to plan. But this is flag burning laws in the United States. It says flag burning is not illegal as a form of protest in the United States because the Supreme Court has ruled it to be constitutionally protected form of symbolic speech under the First Amendment, right? So fuck America, that's what they're saying. However, laws still exist that prohibit acts of desecration if they cause harm unrelated to expression, such as property damage, arson, or violation of public safety ordinances, like open burn restrictions. It says the Supreme Court ruling in the landmark case Texas versus Johnson, 1989, the court ruled that flag burning, the flag as a protest, is a form of symbolic speech protected by the First Amendment. The court stated that the government cannot prohibit the expression of an idea simply because society finds the idea offensive. Exceptions and related laws. While the act of burning a flag as protest is protected, the destruction of property or acts that endanger public safety are still subject to prosecution. It says this means that if the act of flag burning also involves other crimes like arson or violates local open burning laws, individuals can still face charges. The U.S. Flag Code allows for the ceremonial burning of a flag that is no longer fit for display, but this is considered a respectful disposal, not a form of protest. It says consequences of flag desecration. The flag during a protest is a protected right. However, if the flag burning is part of a more general act of destruction of property or includes other crimes such as violent acts or hate crimes, then charges can be brought against the individuals involved. Right. So now let's look at this one. Donald Trump signed an executive order August 25th, 2025, a couple weeks ago, directing the Department of Justice to prioritize prosecutions of people who burn the American flag. The order came with public comments from Trump stating that flag burners should face 1 year in jail. The executive order and Trump's comments have drawn significant controversy because the Supreme Court has repeatedly ruled that flag burning is a form of political expression protected by the First Amendment. It says key details of the 2025 executive order focus on incitement. The order directs federal officials to pursue flag burning cases. Slovakia. That incite violence or otherwise violate our laws. It attempts to work around Supreme Court precedent by emphasizing that the court has not protected flag desecration in cases of imminent lawless action or fighting words. All right, it says encourages prosecution under other laws. It says the directive encourages the prosecution of flag burners using existing content neutral laws that addresses unrelated harms such as disorderly conduct, theft, or fire safety regulation. Targets foreign nationals. The order specifically mentions foreign nationals who burn the American flag, stating that their actions could lead to the revocation of visas, residency permits, or other immigration benefits. It says no new penalties. While Trump stated flag burners should get a year in jail, the executive order itself does not establish this as a new legal penalty. Legal experts widely regard any such ban on flag burning as unconstitutional. Right, so let's see. Background and context. Trump has long opposed flag burning and has called for criminalizing it for many years. It says in 2016, he suggested that flag burners should face loss of citizenship or a year in jail. It says the executive order follows recent instances of flag burning at protests, including a notable one during Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu address to Congress in July 2025. It says a man was arrested after the order was signed. Just hours after the executive order was signed, a man was arrested for burning an American flag across from the White House. The man, a combat veteran, was protesting the executive order itself. His charges were reportedly based on fire regulations for public parks, not flag desecration itself, highlighting the administration approach of using other laws to target flag burners. Right. So that's what's going on with this flag burning situation. They trying to figure out a way to get you locked up for doing it and prosecuted. But foreign nationals, let me look up this real fast. Foreign national, a person who is not a naturalized citizen of the country in which they are living, naturalized of a foreigner admitted to the citizenship of a country. Right. So your illegals are foreign nationals, and they can basically prosecute you. Let me get back up there real fast. targets foreign nationals. The order specifically mentions foreign nationals who burn the American flag, stating that their actions could lead to the revocation of visas, residency permits, or other immigration benefits rights. So they persecute y'all for burning flags, which was a part of an amendment. Really, they just trying to turn this place into a what do you call it? Well, Trump is basically showing that he's an authoritarian. Um, the movie 1984 is what they trying to turn this place into, because he's passing laws and stuff that's going against people's natural constitution. You know, that's pass laws that's going against people's natural constitution, the Bill of Rights, things that was already established. He's starting to look like authoritarian. You know, he wants you persecuted for everything that, shit, that goes against the New World Order, basically. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish playing this video.
They are pretty much focused on this one building, but a lot of the organizing happens a few blocks away with a nearby park. But still, I mean, as a whole, we're talking about a relatively small amount of space, but they're doing a lot of damage there, and that's the actual problem. Any given night, there could be anything from a couple dozen to about 50, even 100. I mean, the more momentum that away with a nearby park. But still, I mean, as a whole, we're talking about a relatively small
Day to you. I want to roll a couple things here. Here's the flag burning and the guillotine. We'll have our viewers take a gander at that. I'm having a hard time understanding how big of an area this is or how many people are out there on a nightly basis. Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, so the area itself is relatively small because they are pretty much focused on this one building, but a lot of the organizing happens a few blocks away with a nearby park. But still, I mean, as a whole, we're talking about a relatively small amount of space, but they're doing a lot of damage there, and that's the actual problem. Any given night, there could be anything from a couple dozen to about 50, even 100. I mean, the more momentum that continues to build brings in more.
He's saying they're doing a lot of damage there. That means the people burning the flag can't be prosecuted,
Folks who aren't just living in Portland and the general Oregon area. There are folks who are coming from California and Washington State as well to help out with this organizing and this all-out.
And us that's been here a long time know that a lot of these people that might be coming from these other states might be agents to help incite the chaos.
Assault against us.
So the mayor's not going to cooperate. That's pretty clear. Here's what the Portland mayor said. Here's the quote. Federal administration deploys bulldozers and mass arrests by masked agents, the opposite of our outreach worker and emergency shelter strategy. Let's work together by volunteering and donating and prove the administration's heavy-handed tactics are not needed in our city. That's a no, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's more than a no. I think it's clearly rejecting any kind of interference coming from the federal government. And that's really what this problem is, because you've got two separate issues that the mayor is trying to use to generate folks on his side. On the one hand, you've got just the sanctuary policies. They want nothing to do with ICE agents. At the same time, despite all of this, they've got a homelessness crisis. And they're now claiming that the president is going to send National Guard troops into Portland to help with homelessness. And so he's using that as a threat to generate support for a plan that continues to fail, frankly, in Portland, and is a big reason why you've got that vacancy rate that Dan Springer talked about.
Here is the deputy ICE director talking about the cities that need the help, and they're blue.
As you all know, oftentimes these Democrat-run cities are the ones who need ICE the most. And the men and women of ICE, Secretary Noem and President Trump will not be deterred by Democrat members of Congress, of governors, and of local leadership who are saying they will not work with ICE. We will go into communities and we will enforce immigration law as it's written.
So, Jason, can you project for us what this looks like in 3 or 6 months? Well, we had the governor of Louisiana on our program earlier on America's Newsroom. And the question came up about New Orleans. He pretty much said, he didn't say, let's start this hour, but it was pretty much any day. And whether it was New Orleans or Chicago or somewhere else, how big does this go?
If it starts in Chicago, you're going to see considerably less controversy than if it happens in Portland or Seattle. The reality is, if they were to bring any federal troops to do any kind of policing, no matter how many people might even want it, you're going to have the large contingency of these thugs who you're seeing on screen right now get violent. It will turn violent. And that's going to be counterproductive to the end goals of this administration. I mean, part of me wants to send them in to send the message. A lot of these people, you can tell, they're dressed in black bloc. They do not want to be known. And so what the federal government should be doing is making arrests, unmasking them, and doing to them exactly what they've been doing to the criminal illegal immigrants on social media, which is taking photos during the arrests and outing the people responsible. That could make a difference. However, they are violent, and that's the problem that will be posed to federal law enforcement agencies if they end up getting more involved than what they're currently doing. It is a different beast in the Pacific Northwest.
Could make for a hot fall and beyond. Jason Rance, thank you for your time.
All right, and with that being said, hallelujah. How about Shema Shai, about Shema Kadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of who well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Shalom.